All right. So the next fight we have is this Finnish guy named Teemu Packalen versus Ottman Azaitar. Um, so the Finnish guy. Now I'm a hockey guy, and any Finnish guy named Teemu is appealing to me. But it looks like he entered the UFC fighting. I remember he was like a French guy, Michaela Lebaut. Um, Lost that fight. Looked like he didn't have great cardio, but I do remember the announcer saying that he was at a music festival with his friends 9 days prior. So I'm giving him a break on the cardio issue. I'm not getting too far out over my skis on this whole he has horrible cardio issue because I have seen that in other, in the MMA community, like Timo has bad cardio. Maybe he does. I don't know. Um, then he fought Thigh, I don't know, Guti, and knocked him out very quickly. Now, what was interesting in this fight is he caught him with an uppercut that knocked him out in like real early in the first round, and you could tell he jumped into jiu-jitsu. Like, I do think that like people in fighting they revert back to what's natural. Like if you grow up with a wrestling background, you're gonna like you get hurt or like times get tough or whatever. You you revert to your wrestling. Like Anthony Johnson versus Daniel Cormier. Why did he wrestle in Buffalo? Well, he grew up a wrestler. He got hurt. He was fatigued. Now he wants to wrestle more. In Timu, it's the same thing. Like he grew up on a jiu-jitsu mat. His background is jiu-jitsu. He gets you hurt. His instincts are jiu-jitsu, grapple, and he choked him out. Now his next fight didn't go so well. Mark Takasi, Mark Takasi, um, hit him with a right hand, I believe, and just completely flatlined him real quick. And this fight was 2 years ago, 2007. So there's a big wild card. It looks like he had a fight canceled due to a knee injury and later in 2017. So the knockout was not his concern as to why he had that issue or why he didn't fight for a long time. It looks like he had a knee injury. And then he also had another injury. He had to back out of a fight in April of this year. So they're putting him on the Abu Dhabi card against this guy named Ottman Azaitar. There's a lot of unknown in this fight, but one thing that I do know is that the Timu wants to grapple. He wants to take you down, and he wants to inflict his top game. I think he looks like a top game player. Um, One thing that I also am remembering that I would like to mention is UFC debut. A lot of times he pulled guard and got you into his guard. Um, because the French guy was not a striker or was a striker and didn't really want to get into his guard. And a couple times he did lure him in. So there's that. He wants to grapple you. I would say he's fairly good at it. Um, Now, this Ottoman Azatar guy, it looks like he's from Morocco. His brother is also in the UFC or was in the UFC. I wasn't really impressed with a lot of his fights that he has had. It looks like he fights for a place called Brave CF. I don't know what it is. I've watched a couple of their fights. I think they're readily available on YouTube. Some of these fights I've had to dig for. Not going to give away my secrets of how I find these Japanese low-level MMA fights, but some of the fight that if you want to get a good idea of this guy of Ottoman, watch Alejandro Martinez versus Ozatar. I think that is the fight that it's lengthy. It shows you his abilities, and I curbed my opinion because originally I thought the Timu, the Finnish guy, was a +90 underdog, and I did bet it, but I thought that this fight is a fight that Ottoman hasn't seen any grappling. Like this guy's gonna choke him out. Like why is he a +90 underdog? So I took that. I didn't bet a lot on it because I watched this fight. I still think that's a good bet is +90 underdog because I don't think that Ottoman has seen anyone that has this level of jiu-jitsu, even though I don't think it's a very high level. But it is his specialty, and he made it to the UFC, so it's not nothing. Um, but I do think that Teemu is going to find top position. Obviously, he needs to work on his wrestling in order to get the. As do a lot of these jiu-jitsu guys, need to work on your wrestling to get the fight to the ground. But I think his striking, his length is going to help him with his striking. His length is going to help him kind of maybe shoot a double or like take Ottman's attention away from take his attention away from like protect like wrestling defense on the double. But I don't think that's a bad bet. I think he wins a decision here with spending 3 rounds on the floor or on top of this Ottman guy. I don't think that's an unreasonable opinion.